In this video, we're going to cover a flow for the hips, standing at the back of the reformer using thigh cuffs. Now, if you don't have thigh cuffs or ankle wrist cuffs, highly recommend getting your set because I'm going to be doing a lot in the future with these things. These are custom made by Elements by Momentum World. They're the right thickness, the right softness. They are so much better quality than the standards we have in our industry. I really, really like these. So if you have regular standard thigh cuffs, go ahead and grab them. If you don't and you only have double loops, you can use double loops. I've done it, but the problem with my quads is this is a little too tight, and this is too loose, so it keeps slipping off. So you have options if they work for you, great. If not, try to get a set of thigh cuffs and ankle cuffs. And let's put, I'm on the clinical, the taller, the 18-inch. They've changed it. It's no longer called the clinical. The clinical is 24. So a lot of the times I call this clinical because I've been doing that for years, but Balance Body changed it. This is now the Studio Reformer 18-inch Infinity Foot Bar. And it's got the Revo bar in. So I have to put a box in the well. Otherwise, I'm not going to get that range of motion I want. Now, the other option, let me grab it. The other option, if you have the ADA platform, you can stand on the ADA platform as well. Just make sure the swivel pulleys are able to be, sorry, they need to be on top. So you just have to put them on top. But you can stand on this as well and do the series we're going to cover. The only difference with the long box is you can do a staggered foot position, which I'm going to show you. So feel free, if you have the extended platform, the ADA platform, try that. You may need to move it forward or backwards depending on what's right for you. So when we clip it on and we're doing the hip presses, when we go forward, please make sure you're safe because it's really high up here. If you've got the reformers on the floor, it's not going to be too bad. But for me, I like to be on the box in the well. So that's as far as basic setup. If you have the ability to put your swivel pulleys down or drop your collapsible risers, put them at the base. And I'm going to demonstrate with the blue, even though yellow will be most appropriate for most anybody just trying this out. I find that with feet and straps that I like a little heavier. It gives me that feedback I need to find out whether I'm going into my back or whether I'm using my glutes properly. And same thing here. I want to make sure I'm feeling the right movement. So I'm wearing sweats today on purpose because when I wear like tights or bare skin, I'm taking the loops off my legs, my calves, because they slide down. So if you want to do this flow with me, you're fine in bare legs. You just have to pick them up off your ankles now and then, which is no big deal at all. But having this little bit of fabric makes a big difference. All right, so we've got these babies on. We're going to start facing back, crossing the straps. Got to remember how I started this flow. So we're going to stand in the well, swivel pulleys down, box on. Now, if you have the shorter reformers and you find that the box is too high, you can't do it with the box because of it'll hit the carriage. In the 18-inch, it doesn't. So let's say you're doing the traditional 14-inch. Sorry while I make some noise. If you have a Reebok platform, you can do that. That'll lift you up just enough, and then you give you the options to have your foot position. So if you've got the lower reformers, this is going to lift you up a little bit. If you have something, I'm trying to think of other options you can do. If you really like work off the back, and you want to lift yourself up a little bit more. So basically with this box on, it takes away all of this as though it's on the floor. So you just want to lift yourself up enough. So let's say you don't have one of these, but you have a friend that can build you a little box. I would build a box, a perfect world, a little wider than the standard box and a little lower. I'm going to have some platforms made so I don't have to use the box and I can put them a tiny bit lower. But for now, the box works really well in most reformers. The shorter ones use this. The ones on the floor, you may not need to prop yourself up. So you're going to be at an advantage there. All right, so let's get started with this flow. We're going to first cross this. I'm sorry, before we do that, you can choose to shorten your straps, or you can do the quick and dirty version, I call it, where I loop it around once the peg, and then I loop it around once the shoulder rest. Once around the peg, and once around the shoulder rest. Then I don't have to worry about changing the strap length. So let's go ahead and clip the left to the right. Now this flow is going to have us standing, facing front, then facing back, then facing side. Then we unclip the cross straps, and then we're going to do just finish it off with some hip presses and some leg work, all for glutes. So we're going to start. I always like to grab this as I'm turning and transitioning. Start with the D-ring behind. And I mentioned earlier, when you have the extended platform, the ATA platform, you can't do a staggered stance. So we're going to start in a staggered stance. And I've got that blue spring on. And we're going to start really, really easy. If you feel you need some stability, grab your gondola pole or poles if you have those. Or take and hold one or two foam rollers upended. Just so you have some stability, because I don't want anybody falling off, especially if they're taller the reformers. So let's start nice and easy. The flow starts with simple heel lifts. So let's say you're doing a yellow. Let's do 5 reps. And it's not enough resistance. You might need to just shorten the loops a little bit more. Play around with what works for you. So we start with heel lifts. Then we do little foot lifts, just to get our standing leg kind of prepped for knee lifts. So let's do 3, 4, and 5. Most important is pushing that knee forward so the load doesn't pull you back because the resistance is behind you. Now let's do knee lifts. Up, 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 4, and 5. Now, as I mentioned earlier, grab this, turn around, and what we're going to do is we're going to do a hydrant. So we've got the cross strap. Adjust your foot according so it's not whacking you in the shin, the back of the shin with the headrest. So organize your body and abduct and raise for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now we're going to take the left leg over, turn, and we're going to do that same heel, foot, and knee lift abducted. So it's heel, 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 2 more, 1 more, and then little foot lifts, getting our stable glute to really find that balance, and then knee lifts. Two more. Lost my balance that time. And 1. All right. So I'm going to show you the whole sequence starting, and I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to have you watch it, because sometimes when we break it down like that, it's like, where were we? So let's go ahead and just watch it from the beginning, and I'll do the whole thing. And then we'll do the other side, and then I'll show you uncrossed straps, which is the full flow. So there is the full transition. I'll show you the other side, and I'll talk it out as we do it. For some reason, when I learn flows, if I just kind of say them to myself when I'm prepping the ideas of how to get where I want to, because I have serious ADD. So what I want to do is I want to just say it out loud, repeat, repeat, repeat verbally. But that just seems to work for me. The one thing I didn't mention, you can always turn out that standing foot in addition to holding on, because when you're more parallel, it's going to be more balanced. I am working with a left ankle sprain the last few months. So I'm doing a lot more balance stuff, challenging it instead of a lot of plantar flexion and dorsiflexion. I'm trying to really create an instability. So let's do this side, the whole flow, and then we're going to link on uncrossed cross straps, okay? So let's go ahead, heel, foot, knee, and then turn, hydrant, step the leg over the rope, heel, foot, knee, turn, and unclip, and then clip on. Now we're going to do the last part of the flow, which is both legs in. As I mentioned earlier, the non-working leg, this might slip all the way down. You're going to bend the knee, sit back in the hip, and do presses up. Always pad your heel of your hand if it's uncomfortable on your risers. Extend the leg down outside the frame. Press up, cross it over. Press up, cross it over. And last one. Switching sides. Make sure this is above the knee. And press up. Leg is down, up and across, and up and back out. And then in. So there's a lot more you can do standing here, whether you're using ankles or thigh cuffs. So remember the sequence. Start facing forward. Do your foot, heel, foot, then knee lift, facing the foot bar. Turning around, bent over, hydrant, and then step the foot over, and then heel, foot, knee. and then unclip, and then put both on. Then we go to hips, and then up and overs. All right, so enjoy playing around with those different variations. Be sure to leave me comments if something does or does not work for you and you're a reformer, so I can kind of help you out if something needs to change or alter. Let me know how quick adjustments on the straps, the rope length work for you, the way I twist them around. And go to visit Elements by Momentum World. I'm telling you, these are great. Now, these are my custom black and white stripes. You can get them in any color you want. You can get them in standard black too. She's really good with custom. And I have one set of thigh cuffs and one set of ankle cuffs for every reformer in my studio, because I think that's so necessary. We do so many different hamstring exercises, and we are always so in our hands that sometimes putting things on our wrist and doing some more strength, these are much more comfortable around the wrist, ankles, and thighs. All right, thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoy trying these different flows for the hips off the back of the reformer.